This year I have a message, and it is a simple one. It relates to the United Kingdom, but it could be any country. So I invite you to ask yourselves to what extent my message is relevant to Japan. And the message is this. As a profession, we auditors are not doing enough. We are failing our colleagues in top management. And if we are failing business, then we are failing the economy. And I'll say this again because I think it's important. As a profession, we who work in quality, and that includes auditors, are failing top management. I'll explain what I mean. Like the United Kingdom and the rest of the world, most of the rest of the world, Japan is going through very tough times, and economically perhaps the toughest that any of us can remember. Business and industry are struggling, and everyone within their organization is required to add value. There is no slack. But every cloud has a silver lining, and every threat generates its own opportunities. And here's the silver lining. This is a great time to be in the quality profession. This difficult economic environment provides opportunities for professionals who understand quality and understand the very significant benefits of properly implementing quality within business. This tough environment provides opportunities for auditors. This is absolutely the right time for auditors to show how much you can benefit business. But the benefits come from effective audit. Audit that adds value to business. And auditing is, in my view, too often associated with compliance. In talking about effectiveness, I'm not talking about compliance, or an audit that confirms that processes are as described, or an audit that confirms your ISO 9001 certificate. But effective audit in that you identify areas where governance can be improved, areas where assurance is not good enough, areas where processes can be improved. Audit that shows how much business can improve. Audit that tells top management how they become more efficient, more competitive, and more financially sustainable. In the United Kingdom, we estimate the average business wastes around 20% of revenues on unnecessary and avoidable costs. And because this is thought to be average, then there are some businesses who are incorporating much more waste than 20%. In good economic times, we might be able to afford this degree of waste, but we are not in good economic times, quite the opposite. Why would any managing director or chief executive reject a proposal that would increase his business margin by 20%? Well, it turns out that there are a great many MDs and chief executives who are doing just that, because they refuse to accept that within their business they have failures in governance. Their business assurance is not robust, and their processes are not efficient or not effective, or even not efficient and effective. But it is not only a failure of top management, but also, I would argue, a failure of the quality profession, of which I and you, the systems auditors, are part. We are letting top management down by not convincing them that we in the quality profession have a solution to many of their business problems. This is true in the United Kingdom, and I suspect it is no different in Japan. The failure is that we are not able to connect with top management. The failure is that quality is no longer on the boardroom agenda. Now, I should at this point make a distinction between manufacturing and services, and there are many manufacturing sectors in the United Kingdom where quality has been incorporated and providing value for decades. I'm not talking about those. It is the service sectors that I see quality not on the agenda, and I suspect this is the case here in Japan too. We in the quality profession can contribute very significant benefits to business. We know that. But if the people in top management have stopped listening because we haven't made our points clearly, or we don't speak the language of business, then we, as a profession, have a problem. So how do we resolve that problem? How do we raise the profile of quality and us, quality professionals, so that we are not only become visible to those in the boardroom, but they listen to what we have to say about effective audit and improvement? And these are the questions that we are addressing in the United Kingdom. Japan has a very strong history of successful quality, so I'm not here to lecture you, but to pose some questions and ask for your help. Something isn't working. When auditors approach an audit with a checklist in one hand and a compliance mindset, we as a profession are doomed not to deliver the benefits we all know we can deliver and should be delivering, and therefore we condemn ourselves not to enjoy the profile and respect that accompanies a valued and valued delivering profession. Each year I come here wearing the IRCA hat, but I have another role, and that is as Chief Executive of the Chartered Quality Institute, the professional membership body in the UK that advocates on behalf of the quality profession to business and industry and government. Our members are the quality professionals who have many of the answers to the questions that are asked by business leaders. Questions like, how can I increase my margins? How can I become more competitive? Or even, how can I stay in business? My organization has begun an initiative to reposition quality and reposition the quality professional, to become someone who the chief executive regards as critical to business. We see a future where all major businesses have a quality director in the same way that every business now has a financial director or a human resources director. Even more ambitious, we see a future where the government has a minister for quality, which was actually the case in the UK back in the 1980s. What I'm talking about here is, of course, the broader quality profession and not restricted just to auditors. But auditors have a potential to play a significant role in identifying areas where business can improve and where such improvements may mean not just becoming more competitive, but also whether businesses survive or not survive. The theme of this forum is helping businesses succeed, and our speakers today will give their individual approaches to this theme. And I think the linking of business with quality is indicative of where we must go as professionals. All of us here are familiar with ISO 9001. And this standard too is evolving. It's very different now than when it was first published in 1987. And I'm under no doubt that it will be very different sometime in the future. We have as one of our speakers today the secretary of the ISO working group responsible for drafting the ISO 9001 revision. And he will talk to you about the changes that are incorporated in the draft and the thinking that has prompted this standard to evolve. I have a question to leave you to consider. To what extent will the new ISO 9001 revision require a change in the competencies and the skill sets of the auditors who audit against it? And I repeat the question because it may have significant implications for all auditors here and also for those who employ you. The question again is, to what extent will the new ISO 9001 revision require a change in the competencies and skill sets of you who audit against it? Those conclude my opening remarks. Thank you very much for listening, and please have an interesting and productive day. Thank you.